Hi YouTube, welcome back to another video. Are you guys impressed that this is my third Friday actually uploading in a row? Because I'm impressed with myself, if I'm being completely honest here. As you can tell by the title, this is not any ordinary weekend. This weekend is the second, I almost just said annual, but it's not an annual thing. There's gonna be more than once a year, I think. But anyway, okay, it's the second Know Your Power Women's Retreat weekend event. That was a really long title, but I think I got everything. For those of you who have no idea what I'm even talking about, basically, my best friend and podcast co-host, Julia Renee, puts on these woman retreat weekends where the weekend is full of bonding and growth and breaking down barriers and all of these beautiful mind-altering, mind-shifting activities and speakers, and it's just a really powerful weekend. I think a lot of people get confused because obviously our podcast title is the Know Your Power podcast, but no, it is not my event. This is fully Julia and the Know Your Power Brands event. I'm just a small part of it, and I'm very thankful and grateful that I get to be a part of it because it really is so cool to witness, and you guys will see just little snippets of that throughout this video. If you want to see the actual like full-on production breakdown mic'd up version, you can go and watch this on Julia's YouTube channel. Here on the Kendall channel, we like to keep things a little more casual, okay? So you're getting a little more like raw behind the scenes, here's what we're doing type of things, while she is producing a very beautiful storytelling masterpiece about the event. So today is currently Friday. The actual event like workshop is tomorrow, all day tomorrow. But for Friday, there are women who had bought VIP tickets, and those VIP tickets got them some special perks of hanging out with me and Julia and some of the other women putting on this event. So I'm about to head over to the Airbnb, decorate a little bit before the girls start getting there, and then once they are there, we're gonna eat dinner and play some games and just get to know each other to kind of start breaking down those walls before we have to go into the workshop tomorrow. I don't know how much I'm gonna film of tonight or of this entire event because it can be very personal and really emotional, but I'm gonna try to do my best to document people within respectful boundaries. I don't want to just shove a camera in someone's face when they're going through something or when I'm first meeting them. Anyway, I have a long drive in Austin traffic now. I will see you once I get to the Airbnb. How freaking cute and aesthetic is this house that we're using as the Airbnb? As you guys know, black has been and always will be my favorite color. So this is very my energy right now.
Am I in the right place?
Oh yeah,
because
there are people in this house. I skimmed all of it.
It's like
I forgot what it was.
the first, I don't know how to explain it.
Can everyone just yell hi for my YouTube, please? 3, 2, 1. Hi! Thank you. The unveil of the food.
That's your dinner. Jazz onions. We got me dinner.
Oh, that smells so good. The aroma.
Get the odor in the camera lens.
Barbecue sauce, that's incredible. Where's the perforation?
Is that a preparation?
Yeah, you just had to.
What's up, bro? They don't have one.
You're perfect.
Get it all down.
Team 1, so only Team 1, yes?
Okay, team 2.
Wait, who's on team? Can team 2 or this? Kendall's gonna go, and only team 1 right now
Should we sit on our side?
Yes.
Okay, it's a sport and you're on ice.
Figure skating.
When you eat way too much meat and you get stinky.
Yes.
Protein farts. Butthole.
But crap.
But crap.
But hair.
But hair.
Proposal.
Drive
Say
You're slaying it, Kendall.
Yes, we got that one.
What was it?
Bouquet.
Skipping with metal flowers.
Yes.
I am exhausted, but like in a good way. I had such an amazing, beautiful time. I met all of the VIP girls and they were all literal angels, and not just in their personalities. I was like literally starstruck at how beautiful all of these women were. It was insane. We played some games. I'm gonna include some B-roll wherever I can. I don't know how much I actually filmed. I feel like when I'm in those settings, I like am so encapsulated in conversation that I forget to bring my camera out. But it was seriously awesome and made me just even more excited for tomorrow and meeting all the rest of the women and getting to see all of them really make some breakthroughs. I used to be the type of person that when I was like nervous or anxious or whatever type of adrenaline I was feeling, I used to eat a lot. I used to like binge eat in those moments. Now my body weirdly does the opposite, and I'm not saying this is any better. I think both are unhealthy. But now I forget to eat because I just become so excited and my adrenaline's running so fast that my day moves so fast that before I know it, I haven't had any food or water, which is me today. Zach and Julia were nice enough to cater barbecue and they had plenty of drinks there. I just like, again, was so caught up in conversation that like the plate I got, I don't think I even finished. And I have not had any water today and my pee is a concerning color. So we're gonna try to fix that. Even though it is currently like 11:30 p.m., I ended up stopping at the grocery store on my way home because I was like, okay, I need like some substance in me so I don't like literally pass out tomorrow. So I'm about to make some steak and sweet potatoes and chug this Gatorade and a liquid IV and a ton of water so that I can wake up feeling half decent. And then my best friend Erica is actually coming to the retreat. So she is driving up from Houston right now and she's not gonna get here until like midnight. I feel so bad for her because she has to wake up at the same time as me tomorrow and we gotta get up early. So we are not getting a ton of sleep, but I also stopped and got some like popcorn, rice cake, some like vegan snacks for her because she's vegan. And honestly, like all I had in my fridge was like meat. So had to stop for her as well. And for energy drinks. I'm gonna need those tomorrow as well. Someone call it Guinness World Record because I think this is the thinnest cut of steak I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks unnatural. It looks not me needing to do the beauty guru tactic so you can see my pathetic steak. The camera's still not even focusing on it because it's that sad and lifeless. It's giving school lunch. It's giving solitary confinement, if I'm being honest with myself. Not my proudest work. Again, I am exhausted. I need the macro and micronutrients of this. So prison food it is. They've lost it. And they're both judging me for it. And that hurts. That hurts. Oh no. Why is it not focusing? Good morning. We just got to the venue. It is very pretty. It's an old church turned into like event venue, but I think it's beautiful and very moody. And our current job is unboxing tissues for when people bawl their eyes out, which is exciting for me. It is really loud in here. We're doing breakfast. Julia got like beautiful catering for everyone. I don't know how much I'm gonna be talking to y'all after here because after food we kind of go into the workshop of everything. Hello my loves, future Kendall here, popping in. It is now Thursday. I have needed the last 4 or 5 days to actually process everything that happened during the weekend, how I'm feeling, how things went, my takeaways, the other women's takeaways. Like I said, I was a staff member at this event. I was considered a group leader, and with that, I wanted to be as present and in the moment as possible. And at the same time, I'm someone that gets very emotionally and mentally taxed very easily. So I've just been absolutely exhausted the last few days trying to process everything. So the last time you guys saw me was Saturday morning, right before the actual activities and workshop had started. I had gotten there at 8 a.m. and I don't think I left until after 8 p.m. So it was just a really long day. And while I did film a lot of clips, they have absolutely no context to them. A lot of the activities we have these women doing are rooted in silence and sitting in your own thoughts. So of course I was not going to whip out my camera and be like, hey guys, we're doing this now. So most of the clips I do have are either completely silent or just have no context. So I also don't think I'm gonna be sharing too many details because this is not the last Know Your Power Women's Retreat. There will be many more and I don't want to spoil anything in case any of you want to attend in the future, which you should. So after breakfast, we moved everyone upstairs into like the workshop area. The only speaker besides Julia and her fiance, Zach, was Liv Wickedly, who we've had on the podcast and I think you'll see throughout some of these clips, and she is just such a wonderful, amazing speaker and human. So they kind of started with their own introductions to break the ice, get everyone comfortable. After that, we moved into the first activity, which was essentially a trust process. Again, I'm not sharing too many details here, but it is just about trusting yourself and the woman standing in front of you. From there, we broke off into small groups, and that's where your girl's role came in. Like I said before, I don't even know what I've mentioned or haven't yet. My brain is still scrambled, but I was considered a small group leader throughout the entire weekend. Every time we broke off into small groups, I had 4 girls with me that I would ask certain question prompts to, encourage to speak about certain things, or just give them that safe space. If they needed it, they could always come to me. I thought this was the coolest part, so I'm just gonna note it now. Huge, diverse group of women as far as different walks of life, where they're from. We had girls coming in from California, Arizona, Colorado, New York, etc. And also such a large age range. I believe we ranged from early 20s to late 60s. I could be wrong, but that was at least the average range there. And I think that is just so cool to see that all of these different generations, backgrounds, walks of life came together, and we're all kind of working on the same 2 goals, which is working on ourselves and also working on our relationship with the women around us. Also, side note, a lot of people pointed out that I can't say woman properly. I am from New York. My E's sound a little weird sometimes. I can't say leg, I can't say egg, and apparently I can't say woman, but I'm trying. Like I said before, the small groups were kind of meant to just ask them questions, get them talking, breaking the ice without having to stand up in front of the entire room of women. I think it's a lot easier to start opening up to a few people instead of 20 plus people. I'm not really gonna break down the whole rest of the day because there's just so many steps, but basically it went from large group activities to one-on-one activities to coming back to the small groups to debrief about how those other activities went. The day is typically very emotional. I believe everyone in there teared up at least once. Maybe not, but I'm pretty sure there was not a dry eye in that room. And when I speak about it and say that like people are crying, I don't want you to think we're like putting them through something insane. A lot of the activities are tapping into our relationships with our moms growing up and healing that mother wound, and also maybe healing some past trauma and preconceived conceptions that we have of other women, or even of ourselves. So it's just a lot of healing energy, and that can typically be really moving and emotional. So I don't want you to think I'm saying everyone was crying because everyone was miserable. I think everyone was crying because they were working through certain things they might have not realized they had to work through. And trust me, I was crying too. Just seeing other people cry makes me cry, so I spent a lot of the day tearing up. I would say my absolute biggest takeaway, and something I want to reiterate for the rest of my life, is how powerful women are when we get together. I think it is seriously incredible that we go from strangers in the morning on Saturday, immediately breaking down walls, immediately being open and vulnerable and honest with each other, and then by the end of the day you're like, oh, we're sisters. Like, oh, I've known you my whole life. It does not feel like any of us met the night before or the morning of. And I think that is the coolest part, because that's something I've always had a hard time with, and I think a lot of you listening could relate. I feel like I always had a really hard time forming friendships and bonds with other women, and if I'm being honest with myself, I was scared of other women for a really large portion of my life. I grew up with 3 older brothers, with my dad, and with my mom, who lives a lot of her energy in the masculine, which there's nothing wrong with. That's just the energy I was around growing up, to paint the picture for you. And I was always really, really nervous around other women. I had like girlfriends and whatnot, but I felt like a lot of those relationships were surface level, and I never fully allowed myself to just be myself in front of other women. So I'm sharing this because I want to reiterate that it is never too late to heal that part of yourself. And my favorite part of the entire weekend was being able to prove to myself over and over again that women are awesome, that women are sick, and that I shouldn't be afraid of them or nervous around them, and that if anything, when we trust and show love to each other, we just become that much stronger. And I knew that far before this weekend. I even knew that far before the last retreat I had attended, but still, it is such a good reminder, and like physically witnessing it, that female friendships and bonds and relationships are so healing and so important and good. I think a large part of that is that obviously Julia, like, this is her event and she is one of my best friends, and being able to like watch her do her thing and watch her relationship with women heal other women's relationship with other women, and it's just this huge domino effect, and it is just so cool and eye-opening to see. So yeah, that's how most of Saturday went. I'm obviously leaving out a ton of detail. We're there for like over 12 hours. Then moving into Sunday, I also did film some clips here too, also not with a lot of context, but we got together for a huge group leg day. We again split off into small groups, not the same small groups as the day before, but I had some women assigned to me, and I decided that we were hitting glutes, of course. That is all I am good for. So we all met at Lift ATX, which is a gym in like downtown East Austin-ish, for those who don't live here. And it's a really cool like indoor-outdoor gym. We met at Sunday morning, 9 a.m. This too, I just think the duality, or I guess dichotomy of like just all the emotions and feminine energy on Saturday, and then we kind of like switch gears and go into like our strong masculine energy on Sunday. I just think it's really cool to see everyone evolve throughout a weekend. And then we all got together at the end. We did some group photos, some individual photos, and then we went to lunch with the VIP girls that were the same girls that were there on Friday night for our game day. I know I'm kind of condensing 48 hours into a few minutes of talking, but overall it was just a very beautiful, strong, empowering weekend, and I am so grateful for all the women that attended, everyone I got to meet, everyone who knew who I was, because that always freaks me out. I feel like this YouTube channel and our podcast are like quote-unquote small in the grand scheme of other social media platforms or other influencers, that I forget that the community we have is just like so tight-knit, and you guys feel like family, you guys feel like sisters. And it is... There's a motorcycle passing. It is just really, really cool to actually meet our followers or listeners in person, because it's very easy to feel like I'm just talking to a screen sometimes, that it's a good reminder that all of you are so beautiful and capable on the other side of the screen. That is basically all I have to say. I'm probably gonna be processing my thoughts for another few days and then wish I had mentioned some other things or brought up some other takeaways, but those are most of mine, at least. For right now, I believe that Know Your Power Women's Retreats will be annual, so I think the next one will be in 2025. I'm not 100% sure. Again, this is Julia's event that I am just a small part of, so it is fully up to her, and she is competing this year, so she has a lot on her plate. But I do believe she has a wait list going so that you will be notified once that date is solidified, so I will also link that down below. That's all I have. I love you guys so much, and I'm stealing Julia and our podcast outro for this one because I feel like it is needed after this weekend talk. But remember, you're more powerful than you think. Bye!